The law allows you to pay that 100,000 quarterly. So you spread it over four quarters. So every quarter you pay a portion of the amount to the end of the year. So that's how you have to do your self-assessment. You just have to make your own projections, your own estimates, and based on that, you go and file your returns. And as you have already indicated, you need also to register for a 10 before you file the returns. So it's also important.
Mr. Frimpong, just for the sake of our listeners, I just would take the opportunity to ask you a question so that there's clarity.
Okay.
A self-assessment open to everybody, or GRA has to permit the self-assessment? Because I've seen GRA write letters to specific people as if they are now permitted to make. I mean, I'm talking about businesses. So which is which? Can you just do it, or they have to permit you?
You can, everybody, initially, earlier on, there were people who were on provisional assessment and self-assessment. There were two categories. So those on provisional assessment, they were written to by the GNRA. So then you pay based on what the GNRA has written to you. But we've gradually moved from that aspect to everybody going on self-assessment. So now businesses can do self-assessment on their own and then go and make the tax payment. If they do assessment and they believe that they don't have any tax to pay, they just have to go and file that assessment and indicate that based on my assessment, I'm not required to make any tax payment. That is also allowed. So you are right. Businesses on their own can do their own self-assessment. That is the law now. That's the way we are going now. So thank you very much for the clarification.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Frimpong.
Somebody also said that filing of returns, with the filing of the returns, there's one last aspect where that will give you automatic benefit. Yes, when you have, if you have made any of these contributions, then when you are filing your returns, you can now take benefits of this and file the return for them to review. So if, let's say, you have donated your stock to COVID-19 fund, when you are filing your return, you show that donation that you have made, and then you add it to your returns and you file. And based on that, the GRA will review and allow you the benefit of those ones. So I wouldn't say it's automatic, but then once you file and you apply for it, it becomes automatic. They will review it and then grant you whatever benefit that you are required. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's go to the next set of questions. We have Harrison Kofi Gibson. And we have Abdul Rahman.
Yeah.
Harrison.
Yes, sir.
Kindly go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Frimpong. This one is just a quick one. My name is Takra. I'm in Takra here. I'm managing a health and safety consulting firm. And it was a sole proprietorship that was established 2015. And then when I resigned from my job, I decided to be on my own. So 2017 to 18, I registered. I changed it to a limited. Now, just yesterday, I had a letter from GRA office because I filed my annual returns already with my auditor statement, accounts reports, and all that. I just had a letter from GRA yesterday, and I read the letter. I was not understanding some of the terms, so I went to the finance auditing firm that audits our bank account, etc. And then they asked me one or two questions. GRA wants me to pay about almost 18,000 Ghana as a withholding tax on some of my services. That is training materials and training client management system. Now, when I went to this auditing firm, they were asking me one or two questions like, how do I purchase my training materials and the management system of this client? I purchased online training materials from some schools all over the world in Canada, UK, USA, Australia, and etc. And then sometimes I do virtual training program for some of the clients, their staff. Now, how then do I pay a withholding tax on this kind of service that I render? Because it is pay as it goes. They give you the portal. You use your Visa card to put in the information. Then the money is deducted. Then the portal account will be released to you for you to give it to the participants for them to do their training program. The same thing applies to the management system too. I mean, to make helping companies to get ISO certification. So I purchase their management system online. Then I implement it with the companies, and then it's being audited and then go on. So then how now GRA is expecting me to pay withholding tax on this amount that they've given me where I can't find it? So I discussed with my finance auditing, and they say they are writing a letter with all the receipts from all my training material that I've purchased and the training management the company management system, then write a letter to GRA to tell them that they should either look at it, then come back with a different figure, or we will still have to deal with. And since we have a GRA rep in this program, if you can please explain a bit further about this online thing, because what I do is mostly about online. And very soon, this COVID thing is going to change the world, how we see the world now. Most programs we have to do with online, just like we are doing this conference for online. How then do DRA expect me to pay withholding tax on this service? Because already I've
Mr. Gibson, can you just summarize your question for us? There are a lot of people who want to ask questions. Just go straight, please. And there's no GRA rep here. It's from KPMG.
I'm asking it. How do I? Can a GRA rep explain? Can a GRA Mr. Prepon explain that why withholding tax on this online training that I've been doing for client staff? Because I've charged a client to consult him, and by consulting him, all this training part is factored. So I return my VAT as a monthly. But now you brought a letter that I have to pay withholding tax on this training program that I've done for the year.
Your question is well noted, Mr. Frimpong will answer the question.
Harris, your question is noted. I'll try and clarify it.
Yeah. So, Mr. Frimpong, can we add one or two and then we will summarize it? Mr. Abdul Rahman.
Okay, that's fine.
Mr. Abdul Rahman.
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity once more. This question goes to Professor Kote. In your presentation, you made the suggestion that government should somehow introduce something like a 3-month salary support scheme to businesses adversely affected by this COVID-19 pandemic. Already, we know government has rolled out the 600 million CD support. The loan scheme, that's the MBSSI, is to administer. Wouldn't that further burden government, where we know revenue streams have dried up, and in July, government is presenting a new budget, and a lot of revenue streams like the revenue we get from our oil. We know how oil prices are doing, which means whatever projections that we made as far as the receipts are concerned, we wouldn't be realizing it. If we are to add this, wouldn't that further burden government, and at whose cost should government be providing this 3-month salary support scheme to businesses?
Okay, Alex Tees, that is what I have here. I don't know whether it's a Gmail account. Alex?
Yes, yeah.
Are you there?
Yes, that's Alex.
Okay. Go ahead,
Hello?
please. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, I'm here. Okay, I'm Alex. Yeah, I'm Alex. Okay, I'm Alex Diamond Tiase, Yellow and Orange Farmers. Kumasi. Good. Personally, I do appreciate this conference. I think it's a good one, and I think it should be encouraged by the chamber. Secondly, I wish you could also do conference on a conference on taxation. I think members actually need to understand taxation very well, because this IRS is just killing our business. Okay, straight to my question. How can the chamber help us assess this stimulus package? Because when the individual goes to, what's the name? The banks, it's the same old story, you know, those old story, those old assessments, those same turning down. So I want to know, if I want to assess the stimulus package through the chamber, how will the chamber be able to help? Thank you very much.
Noted. There was one Henry's phone. I don't know whether it's still there. It's not there. No, that's my phone. Okay. So, quickly, Mr. Frimpong, I think there was one for Professor Korte, and then Mr. Frimpong, and then we will tackle the issue with the stimulus package from here.
Right. Thank you very much. I think it's a very valid question that you ask. Government is struggling for revenue. Um, Oil revenue is going down, and many other revenue sources. But then you also ask yourself, there are many who have lost their jobs. There are some who work in organizations that are not producing or they are not in operation. Do we leave them to starve? I mean, if we look at the social ramifications of some of these things, some might starve, some might, if you are not careful, there will be suicide. So my point is, we and then support, provide some of this support. It's not new. I cited a case of South Africa where 10% of the bailouts goes to support salaries. But the loan is not the loan is good, but you cannot borrow and then use it to pay salaries of people who are not working. That will be difficult
So we could have
for any firm that is running on a sustainable basis. So such means providing something to keep body and soul together. Even if for that would be good. But I know he's struggling. Government is struggling for money. But we prioritize and find money.
Let's make a quick intervention before Mr. Frimpong, who has been inadvertently described as the tax representative, coming. Uh, I think in support of Professor Kote's point, perhaps it's exactly what Professor Kote is talking about. If in the first stimulus package or the support, we are giving some incentives or support to businesses who, and this is the category I recommend, who retain staff for a certain period. Let's say, for example, there are businesses who have paid their PAYE, who have paid their SNIT, and can continue paying for the next 3 months, were the ones who were relieved. What will happen is that businesses will keep employees and they will not dismiss employees because the relief is going to you for having retained employees. If we use that as a critical criteria, we will reduce the social adverse social impact of having businesses as it were terminate employees. So I think that opportunity is what Professor Kote is talking about, and I fully support it. But there's a point I want to make, which I think when Mr. Frimpong comes in view of time, I think he should address. Is it not the case that GRA is not, quote unquote, ready with platform regarding where the world is going in terms of digital payments? Because there are several things. There are a lot of people who are buying things online, and they are paying through means that you don't have the actual cash receipt to demonstrate. If you take, for example, those who do services and where export services are not batable, how do you determine if a thing was being done online, and if currently now we are moving to Zoom era and Microsoft Teams era? If I was running a training program like the questioner asked, and I was running a training program for somebody located in Canada, is the services exported? And if it's exported, how do you prove that that service is exported and consumed outside the jurisdiction? These are things that perhaps GRA is not ready for. And why I want you to address is, in Ghana, regulators have the tendency of bullying their way. If associations like the likes of GNCCI, AGI, Mr. Moderator, unfortunately I have to mention AGI,
I know.
etc., do not come together collectively to impress this upon GRA, what may happen is that we may wake up one day and they will impose measures which do not take account of this. And I think it is something we need to pay attention to. And I would recommend that associations like yours lead the way to ensure that this is done.
Thank you very much. And there was a question of how they can access the stimulus package. And I think the
Mr. Moderator, I think
institution.
maybe I want to answer Harrison first, then you can come in.
Okay, sorry, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. David, maybe I'll pick it from yours and then maybe I'll try and answer Harrison. You are right. If it comes to maybe digitization and innovation and other things, I will say that the GRA is a bit behind. But I'm not too sure whether we've been monitoring it, but recently they've advertised and they are also now going that direction, looking at a whole revamping their structure in going to the technology, how they are going to tax the digital economy. It's one of the key aspects on the agenda these days. They found a way of doing it, maybe quote and unquote crudely recently, but I'm sure they are now trying to set up the platform and the systems to go in critically and in full force to ensure that they get whatever that they are required. So yes, they are looking at that area. And not only even now locally, a lot of people are making sales on WhatsApp, people are making sales on Instagram, people are making sales on Facebook. So those are the areas, even locally, even before we now go to see the external aspects, that people are making revenues for which they are not paying taxes. So those are the critical areas that the revenue authorities need to look at. And like I said, they are asking people to assist in that aspect. They are trying to recruit people who are savvy in IT and other things to ensure that they go that direction. And back to the questioner on the withholding tax, I'm sure this is just a short time for us to go into it. But what I'll briefly say is that the withholding tax is supposed to be taken by the person who is consuming the service. So we probably will need to understand the conditions under which the GNRA want to. So if you are the one who consumes the service, then yes, you are required to take withholding tax, whether it's online or whether it's digital or whatever, because our law says that anybody who earns revenue in Ghana is supposed to pay tax. So if you have consumed the service in Ghana, in this case, the online service was provided to you and you consume it in Ghana, then when you are paying them, you are supposed to take withholding tax. It's difficult and it's critical. It happens even to businesses who take loans outside. And that is one area that we've not been able to find a common ground. You have businesses who have taken loans from banks outside to fund their businesses. When they are paying them, these banks take the loan from their bank accounts directly. It's not that they are now going to raise invoice on them. They've taken loan, the loan is put into a bank account. When the is on month basis, the bank just deduct. GRA will go there and said, for the interest, those foreign people have earned the interest in Ghana, so they're supposed to pay withholding tax. So they go now and surcharge the businesses. So it's quite a dicey area where the GRA now finds a simple way to now lay the burden on you to pay. So what sometimes we try to tell our clients is that maybe when we are negotiating these things, right up front, tell the guys that, look, if you are going to charge me, let's say 10 cedis, bear in mind that in Ghana, there's a withholding tax that you have to pay. So you factor those charges into the amount that you are agreeing at the point where you are signing your agreement. So, Mr. Questioner, I will need to understand more whether you were the one enjoying the service. If not, and you were the one providing the service, then I wouldn't know where the withholding tax will come, because you have charged them and they have paid you. And once they have paid you, you file your returns and you pay your taxes. So you cannot take withholding tax on yourself. So that is also one aspect that you probably need clarity, and I'm glad that you said you've written the GNRA to clarify. You cannot take withholding tax on yourself. So if you provided the service and the people are paying you, then all you need to do is file your returns and pay your taxes. If you file your returns and it's a loss, then there's no tax for you to pay. However, if the people were providing to you and you were paying them, then yes, the law requires that because they have earned revenue in Ghana, those people need to pay withholding tax on their revenues. And then what you need to do is that once you take the tax, you take what we call the tax credit certificate, and then you send it to them. They can use the tax credit certificate in their home countries to also apply for their tax filing. So, like I said, somebody suggested maybe a day for another issues on tax. Maybe when we get that time, we can clarify it more. So that's a simple aspect that I would say. And let me also clarify that I'm a consultant just like you, and I'm not a GNRA rep. So maybe that's
Thank you very much, Mr. Frimpong. I can see the tax issue is generating a lot of interest. So we need to look at it and see how we can organize a webinar on that. And there was also a question on how they can assess the stimulus package. In fact, the institution mandated to disburse it is the National Board for Small Scale Industries, and they have some basic criteria that qualifies a business to assess the fund. One is that applicant must be a member of a trade or business association. So you have to be a member of the Ghana National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. 2, applicant must have a tax identification number. You should have a TIN. And 3, applicant must have a bank account. To apply if you can't do it online and also access the facility. So if you are not a member of the chamber, kindly rush to register with the chamber. Those who wants to register with the chamber, let me put this line quickly up. 02043555251 Fred, 02043555251, and then 02043555252 Mrs. Grace Jeble. If you get in touch with them, they will direct you on how you can register with the chamber. Somebody was asking the location of our regional branches. The National Secretariat is on the first floor of the World Trade Center. The Accra branch is on the second floor of Adabla Plaza, Oroko Street, Kokomlemle, close to ATTC. The Tema Chamber of Commerce, or the branch, is also on the third floor, Total Logistics, adjacent EcoBank Tema main office. Cape Coast branch is on the first floor of UCC Credit Union building of the main Takoradi Highway. The Secondary Takoradi branch of the chamber is on the ground floor of APS building, opposite Harbour Post Office, Takoradi. The Takwa chamber or the branch is also opposite MTN main office. And then the Kumasi chamber, as I said earlier, is on the second floor of the Kokobod Jubilee House building, Adum. And then for Wa is Wa Paguri, that is Upper West Region. That is where you can get. But if you need information, the 2 numbers that I gave out earlier can assist you in registering with the chamber. I think time is fast spent. We appreciate your patience, all those who have raised their hands to ask questions. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, but those who have already sent their questions, we will note your questions down. We will ask the resource persons and then provide you with the answers at the right time. We also have a video recording of today's webinar. You can access it from our website, and also I think it's live streaming on Facebook as well. So without wasting much time, I will call on the president of the chamber, Nana Dr. Pierre Duncan, also to give us a brief closing remarks. Nana.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. I think all too soon, the maiden webinar of the GNCCI is coming to an end. And we want to thank all our participants, especially our distinguished audience and the media. And seriously, thankfully to my fellow panelists, Professor Kote, Officer, University of Ghana, Mr. Frimpong, Kofi Frimpong Courier of KPMG, and Mr. David Ofosu Dotti, Senior Partner of AB and David Africa. I think in my earlier remarks, I spoke about a research that has been conducted by the chamber and the results that came out of that. you all bear with me that these three distinguished panelists have done justice to the topic that was selected, and that COVID-19 strategies for business survival and growth. COVID-19 strategies for business survival and growth. I don't want to go over all the issues that have been discussed by these professionals, but all that I want to say is that we want to appreciate them so much for in-depth knowledge and experiences that they have shared with us this morning and this afternoon, and that we will not forget most of the issues that has been discussed. Just as the CEO mentioned, the video is there. We can go over. We can also have access to all the issues that have been discussed as well. But we should not forget that cash flow is the basis of all the things that we are doing in terms of businesses. At the end of the day, it's either profit or loss. At the end of the day, if you make a profit, you pay tax. If you make a loss...
Am I the only person who cannot hear anything?
You can't hear me, sir?
I can't hear either. I can't hear anything.
You can't hear. Sorry.
The problem is from their
I think it's okay now, so you can hear now.
Yeah.
It's okay now.
Can you hear me, sir? Okay. So all that I'm saying is that there are two things that we are talking about. It's about cash flow, it's about taxes, and it's about the way forward for our businesses. And that, at this juncture, we cannot do away with technology. And as you do with technology, you must also think about cybercrime. And that there are others, unscrupulous people who want to take advantage at all time to make sure they also get their fair share of the cake. The chamber will want to support any person, be it a member or belong to the private sector. But we want to urge you to register with the chamber so that we can give you all the best of services that we have in our sleeves. We want to also say that there are other new models that we can do at this particular time, so we can revise our models and get the best for our businesses for now. There are a lot of things that, for now, we need to look at. Producing locally, and as somebody said, domestication of everything that we do, especially from the government side, because they are the largest procurer of all the things that we do in this country. In fact, we want to say that we have done some work on taxes, and the tax experts threw more light on that. But I just want to say that avoidance of tax is allowable, but evasion of tax is criminal. I want to repeat that. Avoidance of tax is allowable, but evasion of tax is criminal. Even if you evade tax, if you are a good Christian or a Muslim, it doesn't speak well of you. And we all know that. Even those Christians, you can refer that from Romans chapter 13, verse 9. And you must pay your taxes as you are supposed to do. And so, this is the first of its kind that we have done. And I think you bear with me that it has been very, very successful. And for sake of time, will not be able to go through all the issues that were raised by my other panelists. But I want to assure you that you get those who did not get the opportunity to ask questions, we can ask those questions through the lines available, which has been given to you by the CEO. And on that, I want to thank you sincerely for your support at all times and your encouragement. May the good Lord bless us all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Let me acknowledge
Thank you.
the council members and the Central Executive Committee members who participate in this program, our regional chairman, our regional executives. I have with us the National Treasurer, Mr. Harry Mensah. And also let me say a big thank you to my colleagues, the staff. They've done a good work. It's by their effort that we have this important program and everything has been successful. So thank you to my colleagues and thank you to all participants, and may God bless us all. I will now call on Mr. Edua Moakun, the Chief Operating Officer, to give us the closing prayer. And kindly look out for our next webinar. Soon we will circulate the information.
Thank you very much.
Use this one.
Thank you very much, Mr. CEO. Shall we pray?
Before the prayer, seriously, let's observe all the protocols. It's very key at our business offices and in our various homes. This is to keep us alive. If you are alive, then you can do business. If you are dead, I think that's one. If you are a sole proprietor, you go with your business. And also those of us who have not also immortalized their businesses, that is from enterprise to become limited liability company. We want all of you alive, and so we want to advise that we observe all the protocols that have been prescribed by the medical professionals, and it is not difficult to get. And those of us who can also buy more and share with others, let's do that, because the whole world is about numbers. Businesses is also about numbers. And so it is good to make ourselves alive, keep ourselves safe, and stay home. Make sure if you are going out to do something meaningful. If you are not doing anything serious, please, let's keep ourselves safe so that the good Lord will help us with our businesses. COVID-19 will end very soon. I'm not a prophet, but my instinct tells me that it will end very soon. And that's why the Chamber has taken it upon itself to make sure that these strategies are put in place, and right away, soonest, we'll be able to get our businesses back. I thank you once again for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shall we pray? Lord and Master, we thank you for your favor. We thank you for your goodness. We started this program with you. You have been with us through all this program. We are coming to the end of this program. We pray for wisdom. We pray for knowledge, that whatever we have learned today, we will be able to implement it to grow our businesses, sustain whatever we have started, and even beyond COVID-19, we will come to give you glory. We pray that this pandemic will end, that we shall return to our businesses, that Ghana as a country will grow again. This we ask in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
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 So, our friend for the media, we are ready for you to have the interviews with the president. I think first will be the English version, and then later the tree or the local languages can also ask questions. But then in general, we want you to treat the first.
Mark,
why don't you do the English first? Most of them can take the English. But what it means is that because of the English, everybody can take part. Are you in a hurry? Are you in a hurry?
With the media.
I'll plead with you.
Media for being our copy.
Okay, you let's do the English. So the majority of them can then, and then you have more. You from the questions.